this is a video a few of you guys asked me to do. So I'm going to give it a shot. Bear with me. Basically, I'm going to try and explain to you the difference between Marvel style, what's come to be known as Marvel style scripting, and full script. So if you don't know, Marvel style is a term that refers to a kind of scripting that's really like a summation of what's going to happen in the comic. You don't say every panel, every page. Instead, it was developed by Stan Lee in the bullpen in the '60s and Marvel when he was working on books with Ditko and Kirby. And there was just such a giant volume of books. He would often dictate stories over the phone or do a one sheet summary, and it would be beginning, middle, and an end, and then the artist would sort of do the bulk of the work in the storytelling. So Marvel style today is a little bit more, at least from Marvel style as I know it, is a little bit more robust and fleshed out than that, but it's still a way to sort of give your artist a lot more room than you would with full script. So the kind of theme, or the thesis of today, for me, is that if you are an aspiring writer, and this is a lesson that took me a long time to learn, so hopefully it'll save you guys a lot of grief. The best thing you can do, honestly, is to talk to your artist right away, get to know your artist, ask him or her how he or she prefers to work, and write a script in that format. For me, I came from prose. I was, a really full script guy. I described everything. Greg always teases me that I used to put in photo references for everything. So anytime I did a script with him, basically I would, put in a photo reference for a kind of car or a kind of, device or anything that I thought might help. I put in all kinds of, crazy references for him, and it culminated once when we did a beard for Bruce in Super Heavy, and I sent him a picture of a beard, and he just couldn't stop laughing, and he called me up, and he was like, "You have to stop doing this. I know how to do a beard." And I was like, "It could be a ZZ Top beard. You have no idea, man. There's a lot of beards." But anyway, the point is, when I started, I was really full script. That's sort of panel one, close up on the rooftops of Gotham. Panel two, same shot, but now booted feet come running past. They're the boots of Batman, they're the feet of Batman. He's sprinting across these rainy rooftops. Panel three, we pull back and see it's the Dark Knight. Lightning crashes behind him. Panel four, he leaps off the roof. Clearly something is pursuing him. He says into his radio, and you give full dialogue, it would say Batman indented. Alfred, I can't escape. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. Get me out of here, that kind of thing. So that's full script. So Greg and I began working full script, but he always asked me to give him more room. And it wasn't until the Labyrinth issue of Court of Owls that I really started doing that. That was the first time I really began to understand that to get the best out of Greg, I should just be giving him more room to shine. That was the kind of artist that he is. So that issue 5, was such a turning point, both for me as a writer, for us as a team. It was really, really interesting, because before that, all I had done, because Jock liked to work full script, Raphael liked to work full script on American Vampire and Detective, so it was a perfect confluence. That's what they enjoyed working from. But Greg really wanted more Marvel style, and so when we got to that issue, that was where I finally said, all right, I'm going to give you a little more room. The Labyrinth itself is something that's supposed to be really disorienting, supposed to be completely discombobulating for Batman. I'm going to give you the dialogue. I'm going to give you sort of the beats, but whatever you think you can do to make this comic feel like it's out of control, descent into madness, go for it. And that's where Greg suggested the kind of iconic book turn mechanism that we wound up putting in the book. And we had to fight with DC about it. It was pretty funny. Greg wrote a really impassioned email where he was like quoting Steve Jobs and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, what he said, man. But it was the first time we really worked as a team to sort of push back against something at DC, and it was also the first time that I realized, and it's just a touchstone seminal moment for me as a writer, you have to work with each artist differently. You have to give them what they are going to respond best to. At least that's my opinion. You bend your style to each artist to give them something special that fits just what they want, so that they give you the best back and elevate your story. So this is kind of the way I work with Greg now, if you want to take a look. So this is the script to Metal 6. I always start with a note to the team. So usually when I'm starting with somebody new, I give a whole thing about how the script is just a suggestion, but I try and say it even with teams like this that I've worked on for 50 issues plus. So, hey guys, we made it, we're here. We came, we saw, we did an event, whatever, I won't curse, on and on and on. This is just sort of, me being sappy and grateful to them because they're awesome. But then here, if you see, it says, as always, anything you think could be better, anything you want to tweak, do your way, go for it. Take the script as a blueprint and build a rock temple all your own. In different variations, I put that note on everything, and I would encourage you as a writer to do the same. You want the artist to feel like your script is, is a map, but that they can go off trail and find their own way if they have a better way of doing it. So this is kind of what Marvel style looks like, at least for me. So page 1, we open with some details deep in the dark beneath Challenger's Mountain. Inside is evil Batcave, which we can barely make out here, save the hanging meat hooks and such. It's super gross. The Batman who laughs is unwrapping the bandaged figure who we can't make out yet. Spoiler, it's the Monitor. As he unwraps the bandages, his Robins look on, maybe chewing meat or just gnashing, but they're like his pets. And then so Marvel style too, I kind of describe the dialogue usually. So here, Batman who laughs is saying, lost to history is a story. This is a repeat of the opening lines of Metal. Because I'm just so poetic. No, it's it's something I love doing. I probably use it too much. Many stories, in fact, all the stories of how things could have gone, the stories untold. But the truth is, none of these stories is lost to history, are they? Because the whole event is really about these stories that are supposed to be sort of sublimated that come back and get you. So anyway, so this is a summary of the dialogue. Here we go. This is all page 1. And the Batman who laughs seems right because above, Barbatos is on the Crisis Tower. The sky is crisscrossed with bolts of dark energy. Joker dragons fly. And in the atmosphere, nightmare planets are beginning to appear because the Earth has sunk below. Has begun to sink below the membrane of the dark multiverse. This is the craziest metal album possible. Don't worry, I'm getting to something here. Meanwhile, all along the mountain, the heroes, Aquaman, Deathstroke, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and the Egg, that's Plastic Man, are being carried towards the antenna by the Dark Knights. They, the heroes, are all crackling with dark energy, lost in nightmares, the way Superman was on the tower. They're visible as who they are, but they're also flickering with electric skeleton energy a bit. I love comics. They're about to be fastened to the tower once and for all. It's all lost. That's the feeling here. On the one hand, readers should be like, what the living hell? This looks awesome. But the overriding emotion should be dread, hopelessness, all is lost. So what I'd say to you with Marvel style, the reason I sort of read through that is that underlined passage. Marvel style, to me, the most important thing is to give your artist what each scene is about, what it's about emotionally, what the tone is, what you're going for, what the purpose of it is. Everything else they can choreograph. They can decide, for example, like Greg can decide here, do I want to do one big splash with a couple insets? Do I want to do, multiple jagged panels to give it some paranoid energy? Whatever he wants to do, he'll decide. But he knows that the feeling of this needs to be awesomeness because it's, our big finale and you want to open it and have people sucked in. But at the same time, the emotion should be dread, hopelessness. How are they ever going to overcome this? This is hard. All right, so title and credits, rock names. This is a good example of kind of Marvel style. See pages 2 to 9. All right, so again, full script would be like page 2, panel 1, long shot on this, that kind of thing. This is the way I work with Greg, and I love it. I give him all the room, right? JR2 likes it this way. Everybody else is more of a hybrid, but the two of them really love all the room in the world. Jim Lee is pretty awesome with this too. He loves creating in the middle. Pages 2 to 9. And worst of all, and most important of all, Wonder Woman and Kendra are fighting toward the mountain against the dark multiverse hordes. This is the main action spread image. Loved if we can do a spread. I know it's a bitch. Spreads are always a bitch, but whatever you think. Wonder Woman is using the mace. Maybe she even has it tied to the lasso and is using it like a morning star. Up to you, Greg. Kendra is slashing away with her new wings. It's like these two women alone against the evil armies of the dark. The army is comprised of monstrous versions of the DC characters, but Wonder Woman should be fighting mostly dark versions of herself. So you get the idea here, right? So it gives you kind of a description. And here we go through the beats, right? It's a heroic but impossible battle. They're fighting their hearts out, trying to get higher up this cursed mountain to save their friends who we saw on the last page, but it's like a mythic losing battle. Hawkgirl will be like, it's no use, there are too many of them, Diana. Wonder Woman will be saying things like, never say those words again, soldier, keep pushing. At one point, Wonder Woman is badly hurt by the Minotaur. Wonder Woman, Diana, Hawkgirl, in a fury, takes out the monster, but we see Wonder Woman is wounded. She's hurt. She refuses to give up, though. It won't end this way, she says, and Hawkgirl gets it here. She sees that the truth is in the fight, that the victory is in the battle itself. Surrounded by twisted versions of yourself, you stay true to who you are. That's truth. That's Diana, and they'll at least go down swinging together. So Hawkgirl says, go ahead, try again, bang your bracelet. I'll help you. With all her strength, Wonder Woman gets to her feet, fighting still against the hordes, and she bangs her bracelet with a mace and says, fight. And just then, the note hit vibration snaps the DCU heroes out of it for a minute. All right, so let's take a look. So that's what I gave Greg. Here, metal. Man, I missed this one. I really love this. Bendis is coming. He came. He's awesome. He's here. All right, so if you go back and you look at what I had said, right? I think we can fit it. This is the page that I described as this. We open on it with some details. Deep, dark in the cave, Challenger's Mountain. Here's the Batman Who Laughs dialogue. Greg gave me this. He gave me the meat hooks. He's unwrapping the bandages. You see the robins. And then, boom, the big image. He decided to give this all the room. There's Barbatos on the tower. And here we see the heroes being dragged towards the mountain, right? So, he just nails it. He gives me everything I want, but I don't have to direct him. And even the symmetry here I really love. Just this kind of 1, 2, 3, giant panel, 1, 2, 3. There's just something really stylized about it that just makes me think. It draws your eye right to the central image, makes you feel like this thing is going to be nuts. And then what happens also, just so you know, is when you send in the script, you get the art back, and then when you get the art, you do a lettering pass. That means you do another script that essentially is all of the just the dialogue and just the captions. So you wipe out all this stuff, and it would just have like caption 1, Batman Who Laughs says, lost to history is a story, or balloon 1, that kind of thing. So you get a second chance to go over it again. You get 2 or 3 chances, actually. But so what I'd say is, part of the fun and the joy for me is when the art comes in. It's actually my favorite stage. Seeing the art and then getting to re-dialogue, see what has been added to it, see what's been changed, see how it's been elevated, and getting to do a new version of it that's inspired by the art and getting to adapt and make it even better because of all the awesomeness that's there on the page artistically. So, and here we go with what I just read you. So remember what I described? I said it's sort of like, there's stuff I shouldn't show you, but I will. It's Batman Who Laughs, one of the covers. I love this one, The Grim Knight. Anyway, let's move that to the side so it's not distracting. So this is what Greg did, right? There's the mace. I said something like, Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl fighting their hearts out, trying to get to the top of this mountain. And here they are. There's Hawkgirl. There's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, we've been fighting for hours. The Dark Army is endless. They just keep advancing. Huff, huffed, and so do we. See, Wonder Woman's so badass. She's fighting versions of herself. There's the cheetah version. There's a nod to our old Riddler thing that everybody gave Greg shit for. And here it comes. So just what I said here when I was saying she uses the mace. Maybe she has it tied to the lasso, using it like a morning star. And then right as she keeps fighting, she keeps saying, we have to get forward. We have to go find, we have to save our friends. Kendra's sort of like, you keep banging your bracelets together. It doesn't do anything. The earth is sunken below the membrane. It's hopeless. And then, wham, there's the Minotaur. Boof, really hits Wonder Woman. Kendra, in fury, cuts the Minotaur's heads off. Wonder Woman goes down, huff, huff. We can't leave them in the dark, in some dream, in some lie. Even if it's, I can't leave them. And then Kendra she gets it. She turns it around and says, then try again. Use the mace this time. The bracelets are 8th metal. The mace is 9th. Let's do it. Bang. She hits it. And then she says, and then this is where you come up with these lines. I just looked at them and they look so badass here that I was like, you know what? I'll have Kendra say, just play the damn note and hard, metal on metal, play it like an Amazon. So a lot of that stuff, the best stuff, at least, I mean, that's one of my favorite lines that I put in the issue. You might hate it, but I love it. Comes from looking at this and just saying, what does this inspire? What does this look like? You know, so there's a great collaborative joy to being able to give Marvel style script and having it come back with all this cool added stuff, and then getting to work over it in a new way. So again, the thing I'd impress upon you when you do Marvel style, if you're gonna do it, is here again, like 2 to 9, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a lot of pages to just summarize in this short space, right? That's it. There's 10 to 18, right? So it's just the whole script is only 7 pages, right? Which is crazy. I was really proud of that. Greg was like, "You did good, kid." But for a 38-page comic, so I mean that's a complete record for me. But here, like when I'm going through it, there's always stuff like this, right? That's at one point the Minotaur. Here we are. She bangs her bracelet, and here the heroes hear her mace hit the bracelet. It knocks them out of their trance, and they start to fight back, even though it's futile. They will fight with Diana. They will not give in to the dream of the dark. They would rather die. It's down here. They would rather die than go into some sleep. And this is the key to the whole story, guys. As I've said, it's about Batman and the whole DCU venturing out of his comfort zone, reaching higher. On this detective case that it was about nth metal and everything. With it reaching higher with this case, and suddenly finding himself in a place where everything is dark, all is failure. Everywhere he looks are his failures, just fears. It's about the desire when we feel that way to give in to that voice. Barbatos always repeats, all roads lead to darkness, and give up. To me, honestly, if I'm being perfectly upfront, it's the voice of depression. It's the voice that says, you tried something, didn't work, nothing's ever going to work for you again. You failed, and you're only ever going to fail. Get back into bed, or worse. But here the heroes refuse. It would be easy, even comfortable, to give in to the darkness, like the desire to go back to bed. There it is, when you're depressed or in a black place. But they will not. They will fight and try to reach even higher this time, hence climbing the mountain. So Aquaman and da-da-da-da, and then it goes on. So the point to me is when you do Marvel style, you don't have to be clear about exactly how you're choreographing in your head each fight sequence. Greg could have chosen other things instead of doing it this way. He could have, had the Minotaur knock Wonder Woman down, had it standing over Wonder Woman about to kill her, and then all of a sudden Kendra zips by, helps Wonder Woman with an arm around her shoulder. You can do anything you want. He can. But it's about the emotion. It's about this. At the end, she gets up and says, League. And then, boom, you see it. Hear me. Wom, 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 wom. You get the sense of it. And then they start fighting, and then they're awesome. And he uses, Green Lantern sword, drill. And then, because I say to him, I'm not going to read you the entire script, but as it goes forward, look at this crazy-ass Nano Alfred. I love Nano Alfreds. The next thing, I'm like, Greg, now they start to win. This is the turning point in the whole issue. It should feel awesome. It should feel bright. And so the big thing for that is Plastic Man's return, Plastic Man going berserk, because Plastic Man's a character that is, all about sort of the crazy, all about sort of the joy of comics and the insanity of comic book storytelling. So wham, you get him. All of the above, and Greg just made all this up. And if you look closely, it's pretty awesome. It's like down here, I love this part of it where it's like everybody's getting chomped up by Plastic Man's weird flesh blades-ness. I put sound effects here. They told me to take them out where it was like chomp, 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 and that stuff. And they were like, no, but I love it. There's the metal hands. Greg always puts the metal hands too, which I love. All right, so that's, in a nutshell, that is Marvel style. I hope that's helpful, and I gave you enough of a tutorial on it. No, don't leave site. Sorry. Here. Anyway. All right, so let me show you an example of full script, and that would be Justice League. Nope, that's Justice League 17. Whoops, this is Justice League 1. All right, so here, this is the first time I ever wrote for Jim Chung. So same kind of thing. Whenever you write for somebody new, I just want to make sure he knows that this is just a blueprint. He can do whatever he wants. But I had spoken to Jim at length. We got out to dinner a few times, mm. uh, and uh, and I got to know him. I wanted to know how he wanted to work, and he really likes full script. So I thought this would be a good example of it. So first, the note about the whole series. Jim, I can't tell you how excited I am. I haven't read this in a while, so forgive me if this is totally embarrassing. To be doing this together before we start, I just wanted to say, please consider this an open channel. Always, any ideas you have, visually, narrative, please never be shy. Here it is again. So also I'm writing this pretty much full scripts, but take everything in here as just a suggestion. You're a master visual storyteller, and I'm assuming and hoping that you'll take this as a working doc for inspiration and make this your own in every way possible. Now, if you're starting with somebody new, what I would suggest is to give a mission statement about what the book's about. You saw that even on Metal 6. I'm saying this one is all about rocking out. It's about the biggest, most bombastic, crazy comic book, over the top, thrashing. This one here, also a note on the mission of this book. For me, Justice League has always been the golden ring, the book. Even when I was on Batman, Jail was the book I was working toward. Batman has always been my favorite character. I mean, Batman is the absolute single character dream that I'll never be able to sort of top in terms of a character I've loved since I was a kid. But as the book that's the heart and soul of the DCU, Justice League has always been the book I've been kind of hoping one day to get to do, but never thought I'd really be ready or get a chance to do it. So that's what I mean by that. It's supposed to have our greatest heroes up against the greatest, grandest evil imaginable. It should be the most cosmically epic, most ambitious, daring, most inventive, thought-provoking, blah, 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 and I go on and on and on. So I see our chance to correct what hasn't been working perfectly, but also more importantly is a chance to go beyond what the book needs and create something truly special. A series that inspires readers all the kid fun. It inspires readers in all the kid fun ways that comic books should, but also speaks to ideas, hopes, anxieties that are immediate and also deeply personal. So then I go into kind of what I don't think has been working about Justice League in some ways, even though there have been tremendous runs. And there have been incredible things done by Jeff Johns and Chris Priest and Brian Hitch. I just think there's been like so much good Justice League, but the things that I list to are just that it's been a bit siloed, it's been a bit disconnected. That's usually just schedule and not like that. Justice League started 5 years in the past on the New 52. I think that kind of isolated it a bit, and then it was. Not double ship when everything was double ship and all that kind of stuff. And it just hasn't always felt the most connected and that stuff. So I talk about, some of the things I want to fix with it, but then with that in mind, I want our book to be corrective, but I also want it to exceed any reparative mission. Anyway, you know what? I won't bore you with this because I go on. But the point is, all of this stuff is important when you're doing a project with a new artist, I think, to just give them the sense of what you're thinking, what it's about. The book will be hugely grand in its ambitions, rewriting the very creation myth of the DCU, pitting us against some of our best villains, blah, blah, blah. The book will also be connected and for each, okay. Anyway, I'll move past it. I'm just going on. But this is what full script looks like. Page 1, 5 panels. This introduces our big cosmic mystery gem. So here I'm giving you sort of what the page is about. This is a piece of the source wall containing all its energy, so the so-called the totality, rocketing through deep space, blah, blah, blah. So here's what it looks like. Panel 1, the totality itself, streaking glowing thing, huge. Miles across, maybe with cosmic lines around it, like atom blueprint lines, but changing. We should feel this thing as the first and last spark of the whole universe. Behind it, space seems to bend, shift, stars stretching, warping, and spiraling. Narration, and here I give the actual narration for full script. There is no warning. It simply breaks free, animates, and begins streaking towards its target. Behind it, space-time swirls like dust. Now we're seeing it streak by as we're 85,000 years in the future. We see characters from DC 1 Million watching it go by. You see Cal Kent. You see Hour Man, as many as you want to show. You get that dialogue. Now it's 85,000 years ago. Go through that dialogue. But again, here, and now we see it heading towards our galaxy, watching the quintessence They're the characters. I give you this dialogue. Then when you get to the first page, and what I say to Jim before this page starts too, and what we talked about was this is supposed to show sort of the ambition of the series, that it's all these things are going to come back in a story, but it goes 85,000, million years in the future, 85,000 years ago, 85,000 years. We're going everywhere in the DCU. That's the point of the scene, and that's what I was trying to say to him. There's no corner we won't touch. And now all of a sudden, pages 2, 3, spread 5-panel page. Jim, so this issue doesn't feel like it have too whatever. We could do the credits. But the main haul, this is our introduction to everything the series stands for. The haul hasn't been in comics for decades, so this is a big reintroduction for fans. And I'll trim the narration a bit as we get closer here. I bolded what each thing's about. The hall gleaming in the sun. Above all, it should inspire. The marble is cosmic and nearly glows. This building should feel like it holds all the promise of wondrous things. The tone here should be welcoming. All are welcome. It's a new morning, inclusive, open, and bright. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Let me see. It's almost exactly what I said here. Jim didn't go off model at all. He really went for it. And here, there is no warning. There is no warning. It simply breaks free. It simply breaks free. So it's really close. It's really tight. Now, the benefit is when you get the art and it comes back, if somebody sticks really close to your script, you wind up having very little work because it's really there to insert. And I enjoy that too. I really do. And I love seeing the whole thing realized so tightly in my head. So I enjoy full script still. But what I'd say is one of the great things about almost everyone, Jim, especially, is that they will go off model still. So there are things he does, like this beautiful design that just makes me think of, it goes to the doorknob and it makes you feel like you're about to enter, the white here, all of this stuff. So here, when I'm describing it, though, I give him what it's about. That's, again, the key, I would say, to any aspiring writer out there. Don't get too caught up in the details. I mean, the details, they can be important, but what's really important is conveying to your artist what each scene is about. Sorry if you can hear that rain. It's just pouring outside. It's like coming down in buckets. No, I'm not leaving. Here, for example, going back to these panels, the tone here should be welcoming. So here's the narration. It's in there. It's the same as it was in my thing. And here again, inside, we're looking at all the costume of teams past. This is to celebrate the grand history of the Justice League and the book and make it feel connective. So that's the feeling right there. That's what I'm about there, right? That's what he does. It looks beautiful. Oops. Comicsology, stop. Messing with my head. Man, I am terrible at comics. I love comicsology, but I'm terrible at it. Never mind. I'm just going to stay like this. Sorry, I'm like the worst YouTuber in the world. But 3 here, the trophy room, right? Which is this panel here. And I gave each one of these things a history. This is like the Chronos scissors. This is the Eye of Zotar. The Eye of Zotar's first Meccano. Zotar's an actual villain. And all this crazy stuff that we didn't get to. But here, the trophy room. It says, we see a few amazing items. This should give a sense of the cosmic scope, the fun we'll have together. So this is meant to be like the zaniness, right? A long shimmering rainbow strip, a coat of math, Here's panel 4. See how long this is? This script is like 30 pages long versus 7. 7 for 38 pages. This one's like, 39 pages for a 2-page script. I think it's 22 pages, yeah. So totally different scale, right? Totally different scale. But again, we're looking down at the wall of the fountain, upside down, and here you get this. And here, I'll just show you because I love this spread so much. And this is the thing. I gave all different kind of options. This is what full script is. It's like very, very sort of detailed. Here is one of the most beautiful spreads I think I've ever been a part of. And I know I covered it with a lot of balloons. It's awful of me. But there's so much to convey in this issue that I had to do some of it. But anyway, so you look at this beautiful spread. Here's what I was saying to Jim on the spread. Okay, Jim, this is the monster. The spread is the monster of the issues. Apologies in advance, but I figured this could be our big stunner of a spread from everyone. Anyway, I go into what it's about here. But what I said is, Rocka, the point of this page is the League is amazing and Jim Chung is amazing. And I give, they're fighting all different species of Neanderthal and that stuff when we go into it. and why we have figures here, like why we have Vixen and Animal Man in the background and Plastic Man, because I want it to feel inclusive and connective. But above all, the message of this page is supposed to be the Justice League is amazing, and they work with everybody. And this book is going to be about everyone in the DCU. And Jim Chung, you're awesome, and that's it. So I hope in some way that helps. I don't know if this is just you're gonna have to let me know if this is helpful or not. But and me even showing you the scripts, I get embarrassed or feel a little bit shy because sometimes they're rough around the edges. But this is what full script looks like: Batman at the mouth of a huge cave system. Panel 1, and then it's just describes everything. Panel 2, flashes at the Arctic Circle. So if panel 1 is stone, darkness, this one is bright, ice, spacious. And again, this is the way Jim likes to work, and it's really a joy. So I hope that's helpful, you guys. Full script versus Marvel style. The thing I'd say to you again is that there's a lot of variations in between. With Raphael, for example, on American Vampire, he really loves when I give him room to do the action sequences. So I'll say, like, this is where Skinner and Pearl are chasing a truck, and it goes off a cliff. They hang on to it, but it hits the water, and they need to rescue somebody before it goes down, and there's sharks in the water, and you have 6 pages, go crazy, whatever you want to do, And so that'll be like a few sentences for 6 pages. But the actual emotional acting scenes, like the intimate back and forth between the characters, he likes a little bit more drawn out, right? Jock likes pretty much full script, but kind of a hybrid where I give him pages 3 to 5, and then I give the basic beats without numbering them. I'll give it I'd show you, but everything we're doing is not released yet. I give them with dashes and that stuff. So the point I'm trying to make is that every artist works really differently. The key is getting to know your artist, making sure that you're doing your scripting in a way that's going to bring out the best in that person, and it's going to just make them excited to go to work, because you're a collaborative team. The art is at least as important as the story. And you just want them to go to work excited to bring the story to life in a way that is going to elevate it and make it better and inspire you when you go back to do your lettering script. So, all right, guys, I hope that's helpful, and thanks again.